Welcome to the channel where we test tech so you don't have to buy bad tech. You're thinking about portable solar power, specifically the Anker 625 solar panel, 100 watts. It promises freedom, clean energy, and the ultimate off-grid companion. It sounds perfect, but here's what surprised me. After testing it in 5 different real-world scenarios, I found it's not a simple buy. The hype is huge, but the reality has some very specific, very important caveats that could save you hundreds of dollars and a ton of frustration. Therefore, you need to watch this before you click Add to Cart. For the best price right now, click the link in the description. /N/N, let's get right into it. Act 1, the hook and the hype. Anker is a giant in the portable power space. Their name carries weight. The 625 solar panel 100W looks sleek. It folds up like a high-tech briefcase. It has a built-in kickstand, multiple ports, and it claims to be weather-resistant. On paper, it's the solar panel you want for camping, RV trips, or emergency backup. The promise is intoxicating, free energy from the sun anywhere. But is that promise actually delivered? Therefore, I took it out of the box and immediately ran into my first however. The specs say 100 watts. That's the maximum theoretical output under ideal lab conditions. Perfect sun angle, no clouds, pristine panels. Real world, it's different. Therefore, let's talk about what you'll actually get. /N/N, my first test was a bright, sunny backyard afternoon. I hooked it to a power station to measure the input. The peak I saw, 72 watts, not 100. That's a significant drop. But why? Therefore, we need to understand panel efficiency, sun position, and temperature. Solar panels lose efficiency as they heat up. This is physics. The Anker panel, like all panels, suffers from this. So your 100W panel might be a 70 to 80W panel in practice. That's our first major caveat. Is that still good? It can be, but it means your charging calculations need adjustment. Therefore, if you're planning to charge a specific device, say a large power station, you need to plan for longer hours. /N/N, but wait, there's another twist. The built-in kickstand is clever. It lets you angle the panel. However, the mechanism isn't as robust as you might hope. It's a plastic hinge. In windy conditions, I found it wobbled. Not a deal-breaker, but a detail. Therefore, if you're in a breezy campsite, you might need to prop it with a rock. It's a small thing, but it affects the perfect experience Anker sells. And then there's the weight. It's not heavy, but it's not light. It's a commitment to carry. But is the performance worth the carry? Therefore, we go deeper. /N/N, Act 2, the deep dive into reality. Let's tackle the biggest question. Will this actually power your stuff? I tested it with 4 common use cases. Charging a laptop, charging a smartphone, charging a DSLR camera battery, and topping up a 500 WH power station. The results were mixed. The laptop charged, but slowly. The smartphone charged fast, that's a win. The camera battery charged without issue. The power station, that's where the real test lies. It took hours, but here's the crucial, often missed point. Solar charging isn't like plugging into a wall. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Therefore, patience is your new virtue. /N/N now, the ports. The Anker 625 has a USB-C port that can output up to 60W and 2 USB-A ports. This is good versatility. You can charge multiple devices at once. But there's a therefore you must know. The total output is shared across the ports. If you're using the USB-C at full tilt for a laptop, the USB-A ports will provide less power. It's not a flaw, it's a design limitation. Therefore, plan your charging hierarchy. Need the laptop most? Give it the USB-C port alone. /N/N, let's talk about the weather-resistant claim. Anker says it's IPX4 water-resistant. That means it can handle splashes from any direction. I tested this with a light spray simulating rain. It held up fine. However, big interjection here, IPX4 is not waterproof. Do not submerge it. Do not leave it in a torrential downpour. A sudden heavy storm could damage it. Therefore, you need to be weather aware. It's a resilient panel, but not invincible. This is a joke about my testing. I used a sprinkler to simulate rain, and my neighbor thought I was finally watering my lawn. A miracle /n/n. The folding design is a highlight. It stores neatly, but unfolding it requires a bit of space. It's not a quick flip open in a tight spot. Therefore, consider your deployment area. And the surface, it's a PET polymer surface, not glass. It's more durable against scratches, but it can get hot. I measured the surface temp at 55 degrees C, 131 degrees F in direct sun, hot enough to be uncomfortable to touch. But does that affect performance? Yes, as we said, heat lowers efficiency. Therefore, airflow is key. Don't lay it flat on a hot car roof. Use the kickstand to allow air circulation. /n/n. Now, a real-world scenario. Camping. I took it to a local site. Setup was easy. The sun was cooperative. I charged my phone, a Bluetooth speaker, and a headlamp. It worked perfectly. The freedom felt amazing. But then clouds rolled in. Output dropped to 15 watts. That's the solar reality. Therefore, solar is a supplement, not a sole source, unless you're in consistently perfect conditions. You need a power station battery to store the energy for cloudy periods or night. The Anker panel is a generator, not a battery. /n/n. Another test. Emergency backup. During a simulated power outage, I just turned off my house breakers. My family was not amused. I used the panel to keep a phone and a small medical device running. It was reliable. But the therefore here is about scale. For a short outage, it's great. For a multi-day outage, you'd need multiple panels or a very large battery bank. One 100W panel won't power a fridge or a CPAP machine all night. Therefore, understand its limits. It's a brilliant tool for keeping essentials alive, not for running your entire home off-grid. That's a different, much more expensive game. /n/n. Let's add a joke. My dog saw the panel unfolded on the grass and thought it was a new, very expensive bed. He tried to lie on it. I told him it was a solar panel, not a solar panel. He didn't get the joke. /n/n. Act 3. The resolution, should you buy it? After all this testing, where do we land? The Anker 625 solar panel 100W is a good product, but it's not a perfect, magical solution. Therefore, your buying decision hinges on 3 key questions. First, what are you actually powering? If it's smartphones, tablets, small cameras, and topping up a medium-sized power station, it's excellent. If you're trying to quickly recharge a 1000 WH power station from zero, you'll need more sun time or more panels. /n/n. Second question, where and when will you use it? Consistent, strong sunlight is its best friend. Cloudy northern climates, its performance will be modest. Therefore, geographic honesty is required. If you camp in the desert, buy it. If you camp in a forest with partial sun, consider your expectations. /n/n. Third question, what's your tolerance for real-world versus spec sheet numbers? If you accept that 100W is a peak, not a constant, and plan accordingly, you'll be happy. If you expect 100 watts all day, you'll be disappointed. Therefore, mindset matters as much as the gear. /n/n. The build quality is solid for the price point. It's not ultra-premium, but it's not cheap. The design is user-friendly. The port selection is smart, but the performance is governed by the sun, not by Anker. Therefore, you are buying access to solar energy with Anker as the gatekeeper. The panel is a conduit. Is it a good conduit? Yes, /n/n. Here's a final, contrarian snapback. Many reviews will show it working perfectly on a sunny day and call it amazing. That's true. But I showed you the cloudy day, the hot day, the windy day. Therefore, you now have the full picture. You know it's a tool with variables. That knowledge is power. It prevents buyer's remorse. /n/n. So, the verdict. For the right user, the camper, the road tripper, the prepared individual, the Anker 625 is a recommended buy. It delivers portable solar power in a convenient, well-designed package. But for the wrong user, someone expecting wall outlet speed and consistency, or someone needing massive power output, it's not the right choice. Therefore, match your needs to its reality. /n/n. Before we wrap, a fourth joke. I left the panel charging in my yard, and a squirrel stared at it for 10 minutes. I think he was waiting for it to produce nuts. Solar-powered nuts would be a market disruptor. /n/. Finally, if this review helped you, that's the goal. To make your tech buying smarter. If you've decided the Anker 625 solar panel 100W is for you, get the best current deal. For the best price on Amazon right now, click the link in the description below. You'll support the channel at no extra cost to you, and you'll get a reliable solar companion. Thanks for watching. See you in the next review.